Chris from Focusrite, Novation. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks Andy. Yeah, nice to be here.
Good to see you again. We've bought you've bought a LaunchControl XL in with you today.
Yeah.
Obviously, further extension of the Launchpad, various mixer strip, sends, pans, and further integration into Ableton.
Absolutely.
Something I think most users have been, after for quite a while. Let's have a.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, when we built LaunchControl XL, really we're looking at kind of, obviously a lot of people are performing with Ableton in a live kind of situation, and also producing with Ableton. And yeah, of course, there's a lot of really nice controllers out there. But we thought, well, what's kind of missing on the controller side of things? So LaunchControl XL came along, and we've put 8 faders on there, 60mm faders. So we've now got a control surface that's got these faders on there. We've got 24 rotary pots on the top as well, each with their own little LED label, so you can instantly see what it is you're controlling. And then 16 buttons as well, so we've now got things like our track focus, if we see on the screen here, unless my shoulder's in the way, of course, but we can see, we can instantly track focus on things. And really, I guess the idea here is that we're taking this piece of software, and like with all sort of control surfaces, we're kind of just turning the software into hardware, and just really giving people hands-on control. But I think one of the really nice things about LaunchControl XL is the way you can navigate through absolutely everything. So you've got control over all of your devices, all of your effects.
I think that's it's a much needed requirement. Obviously, the beauty of the Launchpad is the fact that you work in Ableton away from the mouse.
Yeah.
Would you mind just showing us a couple of things?
Yeah, absolutely.
Selecting
of course.
Devices or tracks.
Yeah, of course. Well, just kind of quickly sort of start off with what we've got here. If you're familiar with Ableton's mixer, or on your sort of first default new file, generally you'll come up with your 2 sends here, and you've instantly got access to 2 sends on the mixer here. You've also got your pan control here as well, so instantly just move the pan. Then you've got your fader, and then you've got your track focus, which lets you move between the tracks. But then we've got this bottom row here, which have a variety of functions, such as muting, so we can use that to mute things. We've got a solo as well, and also we can record arm tracks just directly from the from this bottom row. So the idea here is it's like real one-on-one integration directly into the software. Just following that sort of path down.
As you said, it's hardware Ableton.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
And
and if you put in the Launchpad S into the equation, you've got your session section up at the top there for launching clips, and then you've got your mixer. So effectively, that combination there is a hardware version of Ableton.
Perfect.
And that was, really kind of the design principle of what we're looking at. But you're right. I mean, we've got our device control stuff as well. So I mean, to move to different tracks, as I say, we use the track focus button here, and on this particular track, we're just looking at a clip view here. But if I press the device button, I'm now going to actually be controlling the devices on this track, and I can move between them by holding down device and just using these little arrows here. So here I am on this wobble bass sort of preset, and instantly, I'm playing around with the parameters.
It's a perfect way to integrate it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. And the other nice thing is, I mean, I don't need to go anywhere near a mouse to get to that instrument. So if I'm just sort of making a track, and it's, it'd be nice if I could just tweak the filter a little bit here or there, and without having to go over to the computer, it's all there ready for you. So yeah, it's kind of a really kind of well thought through sort of hardware version. Well, hardware controller, but giving you that kind of Ableton hardware control.
Very nice. And controlling other bits of software, I can see user and factory modes.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. So we've got 8 factory presets here, and I just hold down factory and I can choose between them. Now currently this is a pre-production model. This is kind of out there being road tested by various people and whatnot. And we've got the Ableton template in there as well, as the main key template.
Sure.
There will be others as well. I'm pretty certain that we will have an FL Studio template for it too. But you're right to point out the user banks. And if I press user and hold, I hold that down again, I can access 8 user banks. And we can do all sorts of things with this. I mean, you know, I have plans, you know, next time I have a moment to sit down to actually map all this to control, you know, give me a hardware synthesizer effectively using the, you know, using probably I'll go with the base station plug-in synth, and map a section here for oscillator control, section here for filters, and use the faders here for, you know, envelopes as well.
And you get an editor free with that?
Absolutely, yeah. With LaunchControl XL, we've got our LaunchControl XL editor. So I'll just find that. Here it is. And you'll see, I mean, obviously, oh, that's the previous LaunchControl, which is obviously still available and is a great controller as well. But we want the XL version. So there we go, and you'll see it matches it perfectly. We could do all sorts of things here as well. For example, this is for user 1. If I go to my LED section here, I can actually change the color of the LEDs. So I can, you know, self-assign what color I want these things to look like. And now if I send that to device template 1, it just populates it. And now when I go to my user factory 1, you'll see there are my 4 yellow that I've just set up. So, you know, we've got the scope of being able to set up LaunchControl exactly as we want it.
And the colours as a visual sort of feedback, it's sort of imperative, isn't it? If you're setting that for a hardware sort of thing.
Exactly, that's right. I mean, as I say, my intention is when I do get to sit down and map it into a synth, I'll have, you know, for example, red or whatever it would be just for oscillators. So I know that instantly I look down, there's my oscillator controllers, you know, orange for filters and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of scope with that. Another nice thing as well is, you know, you can create a rudimentary keyboard with it. I think I've done it on this user bank too. If I just, we've got this bass thing set up, but okay, perhaps I'll turn that amp sound down a bit, but you know, you get the idea. I can. Oh, missed one.
Rudimentary, but
it's rudimentary, but
useful.
Absolutely, and everything is there as well. I mean, again, if you're familiar with Ableton and your MIDI mapping is really super easy. Again, you know, I'll maybe go to user 3 for this, but if I go to my MIDI mapping, and perhaps if I click here and map up, and then click here and map down, and then I'll click the play header here and map that to here, map that second one to here. Now I can use the up and move back to user mode. Use the up and down arrows to access my clips. I can launch them from here, and I can even, you know, map the stop button to the bottom row. So again, I can use this self-contained, but obviously it's a really nice combination when you're working with Launchpad as well.
Fantastic. There is also any other secret modes that you
any other secret modes?
At liberty to discuss at the moment?
Well, there's nothing I'm at liberty to discuss just at the minute.
Exciting things coming up.
There are some very exciting things coming up for it as well. Yeah, sure. This is you know, it's a hardware controller, but we were looking at certain things that will just bring this to another level, and you know, give it a dimension that is incredibly cool, to be honest with you. So I'm afraid I just have to say, watch this space.
I'm very much watching. Yeah.
But by the time the video's edited and posted up online, it might be actually out there already. But it's very exciting stuff. So
keep our eyes close until Novation videos on the website. And we shall hopefully see some new things shortly.
Great stuff. Yeah, cool.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Cheers.